there's nothing going on here. Okay, there's just it's clear as crystal that exactly everything the media tells you is 100% true. You know how I know? Because everything I just reported here was reported in mainstream media.
In New Zealand that has never, the likes of which has never occurred before. It gave me relief to know that that person will never see the light of day.
Interior Ministry welcomes the report on the achievements of the special units of the Counter-Narcotics Police. We have launched 87 important operations across the country in 2020. As a result, we seized 150 tons of hashish, 330 kilograms of opium, 444 kilograms of heroin, and 77 kilograms of amphetamine. We also captured 70 major drug smugglers. This proves the high capability of the special units of the Counter-Narcotics Police.
Counter-narcotics was one of the top missions of the U.S. troops after their invasion of Afghanistan in 2001. But 19 years on, Afghanistan has become one of the world's largest opium producers.
Joining us now out of Auckland is Vincent Eastwood, a talk radio host. Hello, Vincent. Pleasure to have you on Press TV. Your thoughts on this verdict that we heard about?
Well, the Christchurch verdict, putting him in life in prison, seems apt and seems reasonable to anybody who hasn't investigated this situation. But however, when we look at this, an Australian citizen getting life in prison in New Zealand, to the best of my knowledge, a lot of this is going to be spent in solitary confinement, so he's unable to talk to other prisoners. This is a much larger issue than people perhaps realise. It's not just one person walking into a mosque, shooting people, and then pleading guilty. There's a much larger backstory that the international media have not necessarily been keeping abreast of, and that is a lot of the red flags and coincidences leading up to and after the incident itself.
Right, and what about Jacinda, Prime Minister there, Jacinda Ardern? She immediately reached out to the victims. She immediately reached out to lawmakers to change laws with respect to what kind of guns, and got strict with gun control laws. My question to you, why don't we see the same thing in the States? We've seen elementary kids, school-age kids gunned down by the dozens. We've seen over 58 people, if you remember, just at a concert in Las Vegas, killed 422 people. Aside from that, 58 suffered gunshot wounds. We still haven't seen any laws change with respect to guns in America. What's the difference between New Zealand and its the people basically in charge of things over there and in the States?
The principal difference, I believe, between New Zealand and the United States is that New Zealand is a sovereign parliamentary dictatorship. The Prime Minister, if she so wished, could order the execution of half of the population tomorrow, and there would be nothing anybody could do to stop it, such as the lack of transparency that we have here. We have very untransparent courts, untransparent economy, and an untransparent government. I mean, in this case, what we have is Brenton Tarrant, an Australian citizen, not a New Zealander, who claims he got money from BitConnect, which he used to travel, although there's no evidence to substantiate this claim except for his word. The Guardian quoted that the ABC claimed Brenton earned money from BitConnect, except there's no mention of BitConnect in the article they linked. Now, with this alleged money from unconfirmed sources, Tarrant travelled to multiple areas around the world, but his first stop was Israel, where he stayed only 9 days out of a 3-month visa. Israeli officials gave no further details on this, and the Australian Embassy and New Zealand Consulate did not respond to requests for comment either. After Tarrant came to New Zealand, he claims to have spent 2 years planning the attack and was scoping out the mosques in Christchurch for 3 months before the shooting. He obtained his gun licence in 2017 after a police visit where Tarrant gave the name of 2 New Zealand residents whom are alleged to have never met Tarrant, but instead met him on sites such as 4chan and 8chan, but that allegation cannot be confirmed as police also refused to comment. Immediately buying firearms, Tarrant's behaviour and rants were noted by a fellow gun club member who reported him to police, and nothing was done about it. Just before the attacks in 2019, the Crisis X Terrorism Conference was kicking off, bringing in the best crisis management delegates from around the world, including a, quote, highly realistic simulation. Immediately after the attacks, a lot of conspiracy theories started going around that the attacks were staged or that they were alleged with digital fakery, and a lot of those claims have since been disproven. But immediately preceding the attack, Facebook went down for 48 hours worldwide, and the first Facebook live stream to come back up was Tarrant's shooting. And there were also drills on the day with the New Zealand Police Armed Defenders Squad, and the Prime Minister was quoted as saying someone in Armed Defenders Squad uniform walked into the mosque and opened fire. At the same time, there was a sniper drill where foreign snipers were on New Zealand soil and they were given shoot to kill orders. The manifesto that Tarrant released has been made illegal to view under 10 years of penalty of prison, as well as the video, which goes against the New Zealand Human Rights Act to share any information in any form.
I want to thank you for joining us for your perspective there and your input. We're out of time for the time being. We hope to catch up with you later on. Mr. Vincent Eastwood there joining us at Auckland, New Zealand talk radio host. And viewers, that's a wrap for your Press TV News Bulletin. Thanks for tuning in, and bye-bye for now.
Thanks for your time. Okay, folks, unfortunately that's all the time we had for them. However, the rest of the story here is people who shared the video of Tarrant were visited by armed police. In one case, actually, the police were pointing guns at their children's heads, and the journalist reporting on these stories was visited by police 5 times in 1 week. That's me, ladies and gentlemen. There was also massive censorship of internet freedom, and there were algorithms all ready to go as I was censored in the middle of a live stream the day after the attack. You couldn't say the words false flag in a video title without them getting deleted, and there were conspiracy theories alleging fake guns or digital fakery, or there were no deaths, and these claims seem to have muddied the waters somewhat, but there hasn't seemed to be any real concrete evidence to prove any of those theories. The government then launched a secret inquiry into this, so the public would not be able to find out the details of the inquest, and the gunman himself pled not guilty as he flashed a Masonic 666 hand sign to the papers. Then the gun ban was introduced and implemented 14 days after the shooting, and then during the COVID-19 lockdown in March 2020, on day 1, Brenton Tarrant pled guilty, and the government called off any and all investigations into the Christchurch massacre, no royal commission, no inquiries, case closed, life sentence, and most of which in solitary confinement to the tune of about 40,000 New Zealand dollars a month. So just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing going on here. Okay, there's just, it's clear as crystal that exactly everything the media tells you is 100% true. You know how I know? Because everything I just reported here was reported in mainstream media. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for paying attention. And if you value the work being done by the Vinny Eastwood Show to bring light to issues that other people are afraid to talk about, please go to thevinnyeastwoodshow.com and donate today. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Eastwood. Honestly speaking, not only me, but also the anchor and the other colleagues, we really like to have you more and more. But, as we couldn't have you, unfortunately, at the time that we were supposed to start, the anchor, Daniel, had to finish the interview because, we just had 1 minute before starting the other program live on the air. Anyway, thank you so much, of course, for, being with us in this great analysis. I really wish we would have a chance to be with you more and more in the future. Thanks for your time and contribution.
Thanks very much.